do tshuva, right? Even the ones he's saying a big chiddush there, B'atzim. Right? Even those that say ein lechelik l'olam haba, even though this really had to do with a few blot ago in Kiddushin, even though it says ein lechelik l'olam haba, that's only if he's saying that's only if they didn't do tshuva. But if they did tshuva, then they can get olam haba. Right? It's a big chiddush. Yeah. Fine.
See, Yaakov, I have a question about sukkah, but I'll ask you in the morning.
Okay. Okay, so let's go. So we're on Mem Dalet Amud Aleph. Yeah. And we're in the middle of the sugya. It's a shtickle nitty gritty. How do you call it? I don't know what's in there. It's not complicated necessarily, but it's a little technical, right? So we said just to chazer over. We said yesterday on the bottom, well, not the bottom, halfway down the previous Amud, is that a naira who gets engaged, a naira who's engaged, right? So her and her father can be makabel get, meaning if the husband wants to divorce her, he can either give the get to her or to her father. That's the Tanakam. Rabbi Yehuda says you can't do that. Two people can't control one thing, right? Meaning one body. Obviously, you can have a partnership over anything, but they can't control one body. Ella avia makabel is gita. Her father is makabel the get. So Rabbi Yehuda holds the father's makabel the get. So again, by gittin, there's no matter naira. So she's from 12 to 12 and a half. The Tanakama holds the father and the daughter can be makabel the get. Rabbi Yehuda says only the father. But by kiddushin, right? Can she marry herself off? So that's a machlokes achrayim. Amiroim, I'm sorry, between Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish says the machlokes by gerushin. So, and by kiddushin is also machlokes, the same machlokes. Whether if she marries herself off, can she do it herself, or can the father do it himself? And Rabbi Yochanan says by kiddushin, everybody holds that only the father, not the daughter. So that we're having this back and forth. So that's the background. So then we said, where should we pick it up? It's mamash it's a whole long thing. Okay, so what the Gemara is trying to figure out why Rabbi Yochanan holds that Kiddushin is different than Gerushin. Again, according to the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan holds that Kiddushin, everybody agrees that the father can only accept the Kiddushin, right? Rabbi Shlakish says, no, it's the same machlokes. So we're trying to figure out why would Kiddushin be different than Gittin. So let's start, even though we did this last night, but it was quick. So the fourth line down on Mem Dalet Amud Aleph. Yeah, we have it. Eli Yitmar, Hachi Yitmar. This is what we're saying. Amar Rabbi Yosef Rab Chanina. My time is Rabbi Yochanan. Ali with the Rabbanan. Kiddushin the midaita. Kiddushin can only be done with her das, right? You can't force somebody to marry you. So avia v'lo he. So it's the father and not her, right? Because she belongs to the father, right? The Torah said the father has the power to marry you off, right? Gerushin the bal korcha, but gerushin, and a woman gets divorced against her will. So then that she's not really belong. She don't really belong to anybody, right? So gerushin the bal korcha bein he bein avia. So then it can go to her or her father, right? Because neither one of them has power over themselves. They're going to be forced into a divorce, right? That's one. Meaning that's why Reb Yochanan holds that by Kiddushin it's only the Das Aviyah, but by Gerushin both of them can get it. So the Gemara says, "Hare Maimer de midaita." Maimer again. Maimer is when a brother-in-law is going to marry his sister-in-law, who's a yivama, after his brother dies. So Maimer can be, it's sort of like a what do we call it yesterday? An IOU, a statement, whatever, to say that he's going to be doing yibum to her. Right, so that has some sort of connection, right? Maimer de midaita. Maimer has to be done with her das v'katani bein hu bein avia, and Maimer you could do
called
whether
it a letter of intent.
Yes, thank you, Paris. There you go. A letter of intent, right? Maimer is a letter of intent that he's going to be doing yibum to his sister-in-law. Yes, so thank you. So Maimer to be died, and we said whether it's her father, meaning he can give the letter of intent to her or the father. So why does that work and Kiddushin doesn't work? So my answer is that's not talking about a voluntary Maimer. That's talking about where he's forcing her. He's giving the letter of intent and he's forcing her to have that letter of intent. The Rebbe, and it's going according to Rebbe, the Tanya is a Maimer biyavimta shaloi midaita. If a guy gives this letter of intent to his sister-in-law without her das, meaning she's not interested in this letter of intent, it don't make a difference. According to Rebbe Aimer Kana, she's still kind of the letter of intent, and she's going to have to marry him. And the Chum says she's not kind of. What's up shot in the machlokes? My time with the Rebbe, Gomer Bia the Yavama. He learns it out from the Bia of a Yavama, right? Ma Bia the Yavama, Bal Karcha, a Yavama can force his wife to marry. I mean, there's a mitzvah in the Torah that he had, not his wife, his sister-in-law to become his wife. It's a mitzvah in the Torah. She can jump up and down and say she doesn't want it, doesn't make a difference. So just like Bia is Baal Karcha, so Maimer, the letter of intent, is also. Afachanami Baal Karcha. So too Maimer could also be Baal Karcha. That's Rebbe Shita. Rabbanan Savi Yafinu Kiddushin. We learn off of Kiddushin. Ma Kiddushin the Midaita. Kiddushin is Midaita. Here too, it's me. It's only midaita. But my comifligi, what's the pshan and the machlokes? The Rebbe Sava we'd rather learn out Yavama from Yavama, just like Yavama can force her to have bia, to marry her that way. So therefore, he could force her to have the letter of intent to have maimer. And Rabbanan Savi Kiddushin Kiddushin. We're going to learn out Kiddushin from Kiddushin. Kiddushin you can't force her. So maimer you can't force her. Rabban, I see you cooking over there.
Yeah, because he's doing something that's wrong. Maimer is wrong.
Why?
Because his older brother was the one who was supposed to wanted to do yibum. This guy, he's the wild young kid. He has a motorcycle, so he drove to the house. I'm doing Maimer. His brother's a Rebbe. He's waiting for his driver, and this guy jumped on the motorcycle and went over there.
Yeah, but the older brother can also do Maimer.
But he didn't. It's not Maimer doesn't take instead of Yibum.
Maimer, it doesn't, but it's the first step.
Yeah, but he jumped the line. And Kiddushin also, her father can marry her without her will. So what? I mean, so they both have the same thing.
I hear, but I'm saying even theoretically, the oldest one could do it also, right?
He doesn't. He has no reason to do it because the Yibum.
I'm saying the younger brother could do Yibum too.
Not before the older brother. It's the same thing. He's not doing right. We're talking about doing right.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I hear, but the point is that the concept works. The concept works.
The Kiddushin from the father is considered midaita. Her das doesn't matter whether she's a nari or not. Kiddushin is midas the father.
It's forced. It's not midaita.
It's not considered forced.
Okay, good. You consider it what you want. Okay.
Halachically, that's what it's considered. So when the Gemara
good. What's that? What are you saying, Akiva?
Very good.
Since it's midas the father, that's considered das. It's not considered bal korcha like bia by yibum.
Why not?
Because it's midas the father. The father has a right to be mekadesher, and it's his das that's allowing it.
When you're talking about which one? You're talking about
there's a huge chilek between being mekadesh
Well, your heroes, Rabbi Romnick and Rabbi Greenblatt, didn't think that. So what are you telling me? What do they get involved with? Right a Shuvin, the guy can't do it with his daughter.
Concepts.
What?
Halachically and in the Gemara, they're very different concepts.
Oh, okay, fine.
So when you dash it, they are. What does that mean? Of course they are. It's that you have das when the father. Nobody ever considers kedushin with a naira when you're against the naira's wishes, but you have the father's das. Baal Karcha. The Gemara never had entertained that idea.
So why didn't Rabbi Romnick like it? What was he upset about?
What does Rabbi Romnick have to do with this Gemara?
You'll find out from Rabbi Stein at a different point.
There's the Kedusha Katana. He's referring to the Kedusha Katana.
Kedusha Katana, you still need Das Avia.
Well, yeah.
So you still have Das. We're talking about Svara here. We're not talking about the Metzias of the Katana allowing you or not allowing you. We're talking about where is there.
I can talk about whatever I want.
I understand, but it's
I don't have to talk about what you want. I don't have to talk about what you want. When parents mute me, Rabbi Cohen tells me to be quiet, then I'll be quiet. I don't have to talk what you want to talk about.
Our Gemara is talking about Das, and you're talking about something that's.
I don't know. I don't got no Das. Be honest with you, I got no Das on this whole Gemara. To be honest, this whole Gemara is not so easy to understand. Okay, but whatever it is. We're saying that it's Rebbe. It's going according to Rebbe, who holds that you can force her to have the force Yibum. So too, you can force you could force Maimah. Okay, so the Gemara says Hachanami Mistavra, and it makes sense to say this. The way it makes sense the way Rabbi Yochanan explained the Rabbanon, which again is that by Gittin. Everybody agrees that it's different than Kiddushin and only and how do you say again? Rabbi Yochanan, I'm mixing up Rabbi Yochanan now. Right, that it's only the father and not by Kiddushin, it's only the father and not her. Right? Midikatani Seifa, Masha ain't Kain be Kiddushin, because the Seifa says that it doesn't apply to Kiddushin. Right? So you see beferish that Kiddushin is not the same as Gittin. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, and you bring a raya to Rabbi Yochanan, that Kiddushin is that the Brisa is saying that Kiddushin only the father can accept and not the daughter. If that's the case, so then that's a kasha on Reish Lakish. Again, Reish Lakish said that they both can. So Amar Lach Reish Lakish, Hamani Rabbi Yehuda, that's going to go to Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar. No, that Bryce is going to Rabbi Yehuda, who disagrees, and he says that two hands can't be zoich on one thing, and it's either him or her. So when I ask Yachi Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, Masha ain't came be Kiddushin, then why is it saying that Kiddushin is different? Say Masha ain't came be Gerushin. He should have said that Gerushin. That why is it different than Gerushin? Meaning it would be a bigger chiddush. Rashi says, right? I think no, Rashi doesn't say that, but no, it's not meaning. Yeah, even begerishin that you have a Baal Karcha, even that he's chaylekan. So the Gemara says enochanami. I did tell him Maimer, but Dami Kiddushin. But since it says Maimer, which is similar to Kiddushin, Tananami Mashainkin be Kiddushin, that's why it said Mashainkin be Kiddushin. But it could have said Mashainkin be Gerishin also, because again, they have that disagreement by divorce, the same way they have the disagreement by marriage. It's okay. So we're going to ask Rabbi Yehuda Maishna Maimer. So why is Maimer different? So meaning again, Maimer, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is saying that that Maimer has a different din, right? The father and the daughter can accept the Maimer. Why is that different? So Gemara says, "Hayov is a kuka v'imedus." I think somebody mentioned this last night. Things are both that since Lamaisa, she's kuka v'imedus, right? I mean, she's stuck marrying this guy, right? Maybe Rabbi understands what you were saying. I don't know. She's stuck marrying this guy, right? She's got to marry a brother-in-law. That is the din. There's nothing to talk about. She's got to marry. So Memela, it's either the father or the daughter. But who cares who takes it? right? Meaning any sort of tfisa works. When it says hashdas is lachi, Rav Yochanan nami like tikshi lach meikar. If you're saying that, then you never had a kasha on Rav Yochanan from the first place. Because shani maimer hoyol skukavay medis. You can't bring any rayas that maimer is different. Maimer is different because she's skukavay medis, right? Fine. Tanan, ha'ish. Yeah, now we're going to try and shlug up Rish Lakish. Tanan ha'ish mekadosh is bitoy kishehi naira boyo b'shluchay. A man is, meaning our Mishnah now. What does our Mishnah say? Ha'ish is mekadosh his daughter when she's a naira boyo b'shluchay. It's mashma boyo b'shluchay in the father can marry off the daughter when she's a naira, and he can do it with a shliach. Boyo b'shlucha loy, but her and her shliach not. To give to the Rish Lakish. So that shlugs up Rish Lakish, because you see that the daughter is not allowed to be Makabal Kiddushin. Rish Lakish, Hanami Rabbi Yehuda, this price is, the Mishnah is also going according to Rabbi Yehuda, who Rabbi Yehuda is the one that holds you can't do it, but the Rabbanon would hold that you could do it. So when I ask, we must is Mukwas like Rabbi Yehuda. Can you say that the Mishnah is going to Rabbi Yehuda? Vaktani Seva, what about the Seva? The next Mishnah coming up. Haimer Liisha. So a guy tells a woman, be makadosh me with this tamar, with a date. Right? And then he says hiskachili bezu, and then he says be makadosh. He gives her 2 dates. Right? Each one is worth less than a pruta. Combined, it's worth a pruta. He gives her 1 date and says be makadosh me. That's not enough. He gives her another date. He says be makadosh to me. Right? So then Havam Rinon, and we said, Man Tana Hiskachi. Who's the Tana that says that the Kiddushin will work? Meaning, but you have to say Hiskachi twice. Meaning, if he just says, be Makadosh me with 1 tamar, and then he gives it to her, and then he gives her another one without saying anything, doesn't work. But if he says Hiskachi, then it does work. Right? V'amar Rab Shimoni. It's Rab Shimon. Da'amar Achi Yamar Shua L'chol Echad Ve'echad. Rab Shimon, that's talking about Rab Shimon, that, and when a person has to make a shvua, he has to make a shvua for each and every person. This is talking about where a guy, 5 people, like unfortunately what goes on now in the Welt with the Ponzi schemes, right? So you got 5 people tining on a guy, you stole my money, right? Unfortunately, halavai should only be 5. They go after him, and he says, I swear to all of you guys that I don't owe you the money. And then he's caught lying. Does he have to have 5? Is he over on 5 isurim or just 1? He said 1 shvua. He didn't say 5 shvuas. Right? So Reb Shimon holds he has to say, I swear to each one, I swear to you, I swear to you, I swear to you, I swear to you. In order for him to be chayiv in each and every one, he needs to be chayiv. He needs to say that to all of them, right? So that's going. So that Mishnah is going according to Reb Shimon. If it's going according to Reb Shimon, then it can't be Reb Yehuda. V'chitei makula Reb Yehuda. So if you can say no, the whole Mishnah, meaning the first Mishnah that we just asked the kasha from the first Mishnah, the Perek, that ish can be mekadosh him with a shliach, and the next Mishnah with being mekadosh with a date that's not worth shavar pruta. So v'chitei makula Reb Yehuda, uve prati savalak Reb Shimon. And by prati, by meaning saying specific things, meaning the giving the date, it doesn't work until you have to say each one. Umi savarla. Can we really say that Rabbi Yehuda holds like Reb Shimon? Vatanya zeh klal. Klal, if he just says it 1 klal, meaning he just, like we said, he just says, all of you people, I swear to you, I don't have your money. There he's only chayiv 1. Prat, if he says it to each one, chayiv kolachas vachas. So Rameir holds it's very clear cut. If he just says, I don't owe any of you guys money, and he ends up swearing, then he's chayiv in each one. So he's chayiv only 1. If he says to each one of them, he's chayiv in each and every one of them. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, shvua loy lacha, loy lacha. If he says a shvua, not to you, chayav al kol achas v'achas, he's chayav in each one. Meaning he said the word shvua, then he said not to you, but he only said one word shvua. He's chayav in each one. Eliezer Aimer loy lacha shvua. Here he said one shvu, but he said it at the end. Chayav al kol achas v'achas. He's chayav in each and every one of them. Shimon says he's never chayav until he actually says the word shvua to each and every one. So you have 4 shitas here about this guy denying, right? So you see there's a machlokes in this brisa between Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon. So clearly, then we can't say that Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon agree. So when it answers Elakula Reb Shimon, so we're going to go the other way and say the whole brisa is Reb Shimon, or b'shlichus savalak Reb Yehuda, and by shlichus he holds like Reb Yehuda. Right? So saying really the whole Mishnah is Reb Shimon, right? And therefore he has to say, I'm Makadish you with a Tamar. I'm Makadish you with a Tamar. Right? And but in the Reisha, it's Reb Shimon going like Reb Yehuda. Right? That only the father can be accepted Kiddushin and not the daughter. But now the Gemara goes, so again, so just to reiterate, we have a machlokes Tanoim between Reb Yehuda and the Tanakama, right? Reb Yehuda holds that, the Tanakama holds that a father and a daughter can be makabel a get, right? And Reb Yehuda holds that only the father. And Reb Yochanan and Rish Lakish are having a machlokes whether the same din applies to being makabel her marriage or not. Right? They're having that machlokes. Right, so now bottom line is who do we paskin like? So Rav Asi, a little bit of a gadata here. Rav Asi like Olabei Medrash. Rav Asi didn't go to the Besmerish. He was absent that day. Ashkechel Rav Zera. So he found Rav Zera. Amalei, my Amalei in the Beit Medrash. What did they say today in the yeshiva? Amalei, he said to him, Afanaloi Ayel. I didn't go either. Right? Rav Avin who the Ayel. Rav Avin went up. And he said, Chavrusa kulak Rabbi Yochanan. The whole chabura pasked like Rabbi Yochanan. Right? That the chachamim are moide by Kiddushin that only the father can accept it. They passed like Rabbi Yochanan. But Tzavach Rish Lakish, I guess he was telling them he missed some action that day. Right? And Rabbi Rish Lakish got up and started yelling. But not only stop yelling. Tzavach Rish Lakish ki kruchya. He started screaming like some sort of what do you call it? The article says a crane. I'm assuming it's not a machine crane. It's referring to the bird, the crane. Yes, as my brains. Well, yeah. Now, do cranes make noise? I'm saying, what is that? Cranes are noisy? Yeah, I don't. Simon, is that Simon? No, I don't know if this. I don't know if this is a Indiana thing. You're muted, Rabban. You're muted, Rabban. You're muted.
I didn't hear the question.
Aren't they in Florida, cranes?
Cranes. A crane makes noise. C-R-A-N-E, the bird.
Yes.
They're very noisy birds. They're known as noisy birds.
I don't know if they're known as noisy birds, but if you have a few cranes in a place, they can get. Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Rashi just says it's an ogre. Okay, the Gemara is saying Rish Lakish got up to scream like a crane. Right? Okay. For Yotzav Haisa, he says, what do you mean? It says we had this many times. Right? It says the hekish of a Yotzav Haisa. We always compare the same dinim by Kiddushin as the same dinim by Gittin. The Leka, the Ashkach, nobody listened to Rish Lakish. Right? So therefore they paskined like Rabbi Yochanan. Right? Yeah, so that's what went on in Besmerish that day. So Amalei, Reb Avin Bar Samchu. So what's the next question you ask? Can we rely on him that's what went on in the Shir? Right? Can we rely on him? Right? Amalei, he says, in Kimin Yama Latignihu. Right? We can rely on him like a fish that comes straight from the water. And Rashi says that you had a frying pan ready with oil and you caught the fish and immediately put it into the frying pan, meaning he asked him about this right after he walked out of Besmerish. So therefore, he should be reliable because wasn't enough time to forget what went on in there. Right? which is interesting because it's mashma that if it wouldn't have happened like that, he wouldn't trust him. Right? That's what it sounds like. I mean, he didn't have enough time to forget. Yeah. Fine. So, yeah. Okay. So there are a lot of I don't know. There must be very to look about why all the like the animals, the birds, fish, right? Yeah. That's doesn't the story of Reb Shlomo after one of his surgeries, Rabbi Freifeld after surgeries, they wanted to see if he was sane. So they asked him, what's the connection between a scissors and a frying pan? No, Rabbi, there's that story. You know the story? They asked Rabbi Freifeld after surgery, what is the common thing between scissors and a frying pan? He says, you catch a herring, you cut it up with the scissors, and you fry it in the frying pan. So that was his answer. I don't know if it was based on this Gemara, but right. I guess they chopped. He was doing all right. Right? Fine. So Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Ano loy Rabbi Avin bar Rabbi Chia. I wasn't talking about Rabbi Avin bar Rabbi Chia, but loy Rabbi Avin bar Kahana. I wasn't talking about Rabbi Avin bar Kahana, ela Rabbi Avin Stam. I was talking about Rabbi Avin Stam. My nafkamina. Who cares which Rabbi Avin it was? The Mirmid today, because you want to ask a stira about him. So you have to make sure he put down which Rav Avin is the one that said that what went on in the Bismerish.
I'm not copying. The Gemara throughout Shas is very makbid to give the order. The Gemara literally spends lines upon lines to give orders. I always thought it was because there's this idea you have to say b'shem amra, big Indian. So who cares? The Gemara should have tried to say just because you should say b'shem amra. Why do we have to come? I understand there's also nafkaminas, but shouldn't that be enough of a reason that you want to try to say b'shem amra? And the Gemara is saying, well, we don't know who it is.
Oh, so I hear you, Kasha. But maybe we can give the teretz. That b'shem amra we had said. I don't know what masechta now already. You don't have to go down the line with b'shem amra. You could just say the originator. You don't have to say you don't have to say the whole line.
Then I have a question. What you're saying here? He's not the originator.
He's not the originator. The main thing is to know that it came from what?
What's the Lamirma then? That's your question. What would the question be about? Rav Avin's not just repeating the story. You would never ask a steer in Rav Avin unless you're asking a steer in the story. If the whole point is that it's not him the one saying remember, what would the steer be then?
No, so then maybe it would be a steer that we can't trust what he said. Maybe. Right? I think. But anyways, it's interesting here because it sounds like they didn't trust him, and they did trust him, and I don't know. I'm not understanding it clear.
I think I missed something here also. Where did Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak come?
What?
Zera and Asi. Who's Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak?
He doesn't know who spoke to Reb Zera.
No, Rav Nachman was just saying, I didn't hear that this story happened. He's another player, right? He says, I didn't hear the story. I didn't know which Rav Avin, meaning he said he heard the same thing over. The shame a Rav Avin who was in the yeshiva, but I'm not sure which Rav Avin it was. Right? Now, by the way, Taisus, I forgot to say the Taisus. Rashi learns that the frying pan, the fish gets caught straight from the frying pan. There's not enough time to forget. Taisus, the bottom Taisus has a much different spin on it. He says that from Rabbeinu Hananel, that if you have two cities that are very close to each other, a person's not going to lie, because since the place is so close, if he lies, somebody's going to catch him. Right? It's according to Taisus, it seems like there's a lot less trust going on here. Say, we must believe him that he's going on in the Bismerish because it's so close to us. We'll just ask around and see if this is accurate what he said. So why would he can't lie? We're going to catch him.
Is he in a Moira or no? He's just what is he Rav Avin?
Who?
Ravavin.
Is an Amira, no? Yeah.
So what is? So they don't trust him.
And I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's
We
going
have the
on.
ratings, rate Amoraim.
Right. How many star rating like a Uber? Yeah, I don't know. Like how many accurate things can he say over? I don't know. I'm not sure why this Gemara is taken with that. Right? Yeah. So okay, whatever. That's that mice. Okay, bite. Bomine Rova min Rav Nachman. On to my base now. Rova had a kash from Rav Nachman. Naira mao sheteyas shliach l'kabel gita miyad bail. Can a naira, meaning according to the Rabbanon, who hold that the girl, the 12-year-old girl, can also accept Kiddushin. Fine. Can she make a shliach? Right? I'm sorry, not Kiddushin, get. We're talking according to Rabbanon, who hold that the father or the daughter can accept the get. So can she get a shliach? Meaning, how strong is the daughter's koyach that she can accept her get? Right? Can she can she appoint, not get, can she appoint a shliach to be makabel or get from her husband or not? Meaning, what's the shaila? Kiara v'yadamya, is she like mamish, like the hand of her father? Like a chatzar v'yadamya, or she's just like the yard of her father? Kiara v'yadamya, is she like the hand of her father? Ma v'ya mashri shliach. The father can make a shliach to accept the get. Af hinami mashri shliach, so she could also. Or it's like the chatzar v'ya. Until the get comes into her hand, she's not divorced. Meaning, if it's a chatzar, somebody's yard can't make a shlichus. So if a guy's yard can't make a shlichus, right? So this girl can't either. If she's considered the yad, so then yes. But if she's like the chatzar, then she can't. So the Gemara says, was Rava doubt? Did Rava have a shaila about this? Did he have a doubt about this? Rava, Kosav get avda yoshin. Let's say a guy writes a get and he gives it to the woman's slave, to his wife's slave who was sleeping, right? And she's watching this slave as he sleeps. I don't know why they had to do it in such a weird fashion, but that's what the guy wrote the get, the husband. Her eved, I guess, her eved fell asleep during the whole. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to write a get. She came with her eved, her bodyguard, right? So the bodyguard fell asleep. So the husband says, "I'm going to put the get into the bodyguard's hands," and he's out cold, but she's watching him. So then, haray's a get. That is a get. Why? Because he's a chatzar, right? The eved is like her chatzar, and since she's watching him, it's as if it's a chatzar amishtameres, right? Near, but if he's up, right, ain't a get, then it's not a get because she's not watching anything. He's up, so he could do whatever he wants. She's not going to be able to watch him. So near amaya ain't a get. Why is it if he's up, it's not a get? Like we just said, it's a chatzar mishtameres because she's watching it, but it's loy l'daita because the eved can do whatever he wants. And if you say that that the daughter is like the chatzar of her father, and therefore she can only receive a get, she can't make a shliach. So then even when she receives the get in her hand, she shouldn't get divorced. She's considered a chatzar mishtameres, even if the father's watching her, since she's up, she has her own das. Right? Ella, right? So it can't be that the girl, again, the Gemara is saying, can't be that the girl is able to get to receive her get because she's considered like the yard, the chatzar of the father. Because if that's the case, it's shaloi midaita. She's a chatzar mishtameres, but shaloi midaita because she's an independent brain. She can do whatever she wants. So it says, it's pashut that she's like the father's hand. So okay, so what's the shaila? Is it strong enough that she can make a shliach or not? Meaning, is she so much like her father's hand that, and just like her father can make a shliach, she could also, or not? So Amalei, shliach, she is not strong enough to make a shliach. So therefore, she's out from making a shliach. Okay, so Esvei, the Gemara has a kasha.
Yaakov, is this about her making a shliach across the board for anything, or just specifically for
The way I
this
understand
case?
it, just forget, because that's all shaila. Can she accept this get on her own behalf or not? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So the Esvei Katana Shomer is Kabbaligiti. So we have if a Katana says, right, take my get from me. Ain't a get, actually get liyoda. It's not a get until she actually receives the get in her own hand. But that's a Katana. Right? A Katana says, now we said already before, a Katana doesn't have das. Right? So she says, the husband's giving me the get. She asks somebody else to take it for her. It's not a get until it reaches her hands. Naira, mashma, but if a naira, if she's 12, then it is a get. Meaning with the shliach. So you see that she can make a shliach. So Gemara answers, yeah, it's talking about where she's a yisaima. Right? So since she's a yisaima, she's in charge of herself. She doesn't have a father. So therefore she can make a shliach. So I want to ask, but the Mikatani say, if Amar Aviyot say the kid will get lebiti, if the father says for again, the daughter is a katana, says on behalf of the katana, say the kid will get leviti, go be makabel get from my daughter. Imratza bal lachzerboy, if the bal wants to be chayzer, lo yachzer, he can't be chayzer, because once the shliach receives the get, so that's it. Michlahal dereisha, but the yesh la'avaskinon. So it must be that the Reish is talking about where there was a father. Meaning, if the Sefer is talking about where there was a father, then the Reish is talking about a father too. We're not going to change the case. Right? So Gemara answers, with something missing from the Bryce. So this is what it says. Katana sha'amres kabaligiti. And again, a katana who says to be makabel, somebody should be makabel her get, is not a get. Actually, get liyoda until she actually receives the get. Hanaira, harez a get. But if it's a naira, there is a get. That's only if she doesn't have a father. But if there's a father and the father says, go be makabel for my daughter, the get, but writes a baal laser, and the husband wants to change, la yaser, he cannot go back, because once the shliach receives the get, so that's it. So basically the Mishnah is saying, where the Gemara is saying that it's a chisure mechsura. And yes, the Reish is talking about where there was no father. But if there was a father, then the din, of course, the din totally changes. Okay. Fine. So now I think we had this Gemara before, or a similar Gemara, but Itmar, Ketana Shineskatcha Shaloila Dasavia. If we have a Ketana that got married without the das of her father, right? Meaning she's not allowed to do this. She's a katana. She's got no brains.
How is the Kiddushin Chal?
Exactly. That's a very good part. That's exactly the Gemara Shaila. Right? So Itma. Again, katana sheneskacha shaloy ledasavia. A katana, she made a Kiddushin without her father's knowledge. So Amar Shmuel tzricha get, tzricha miyun. She needs a get, and she needs miyun. Now, if you remember what miyun is when there's a Kiddushin derabanan, she could just walk out. Right? Every woman's dream. She could just walk out. She don't need a get. She don't need anything. I mean, what's the standard case of needing miyun is if the father dies and the brother, when she's a katana, and the brother and the mother marry her off. So they're allowed to marry her off Kiddushin midrabanan. But the din is she could do miyun. She could just pick herself up until 12. She could just walk out. Right? So here, this katana accepted a Kiddushin on her own.
Up till 12 or once she hits 12?
No, up to 12. She could just walk out. Do we say 12 or 12 and a half?
I thought she had to wait.
She has to wait till she's 12?
I think so.
Is that what we
said? Where's Gershon?
Is that what we said? I don't remember.
I think so. I think she waits. Only once she's a Gedover can she be Mamayim.
I know she has an end time. She can't just do it.
Yeah. After she's 12, she has
when?
A day or something. She has very little time to do it.
Was it talk? Yeah, now maybe talk. I know there was an end time. It was 12. I thought it was 12 and a half, maybe. But I don't know, the start time, she can't just walk out younger? We didn't say that? Okay, I don't remember.
She has no das to refuse. She's under the brother and the mother.
Okay, I don't know.
Mian puts her in her own. It has to take her to her own rishus. She has no rishus when she's a kama.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I wish I remembered. Okay, Shine. Not Shine. Got to work on that. It's a new year. Got to work on it. Okay. But anyway, so Shmuel's saying she needs both, this girl. She needs a get and mian. So what's this? So
Just like the bungalow colony cases where like the kids get married and
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, the pizza shop. Hey, I'll give you a piece of pizza if you marry me. Right? Yeah, that type of thing. So I know, but I think l'chara, this is with Adam and legit. L'chara.
Saying those mock weddings that they have. I don't know if they're real.
Yeah, that would be exactly, parents. That's a good point. Yeah. So again, Shmuel said she needs get and she needs mian. Both. So Amar Karna. So Karna said, Dvarim begoy. Right? It doesn't make sense. Right? Im get lama mian. If she needs a get, so what do you need mian? And in mian lama get, right? Well, you need both of this. It's either one or the other or none. Right? Amrulai. So they said, oh, Naftali just walked in. Should we restart the daf?
Listen, I got stuck with the Jaeger and Berdinsky were going at it.
Yeah.
Tell me running to Myers now.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Yeah. So Amrulay, so they said to him, Mar Ukva Beidina Bekafri. We have Mar Ukva and his Bezdin in Kafri. Right? Let's go ask them what did Shmuel say? Again, Shmuel said this chiddush that she needs a get and mian. Karna says it doesn't make any sense. So he says Hamar Ukvo Beidina Bekafri. They're in Kafri, right? Meaning Shmuel lived too far away. Rashi says. So we can't figure out what Shmuel was in Nardo. So they can't figure out what he said. So let's go to Mar Ukva, and he was an Av Bezdin by Shmuel. Maybe he'll be able to clarify what Shmuel was talking about. Now here's where this again another story. This is so we'll do. Let's see this Afhu. But what they did is they flipped the shitas. Meaning again, Shmuel had said the chiddush, and Karna asked the kasha. But since Mar Ukva was friendly with Shmuel, obviously he was the Av Bezdin, so they figured, let's flip the opinion so we can get an honest opinion. Meaning they're afraid that if they're going to present it as what Shmuel really said, and Karna's kasha, of course Mar Ukva was going to side with Shmuel. He's his guy. Right? I'm saying this. Does this sound like right?
So who did they send the Shaila to? Mar Ukva or Rav?
What?
Who did they send the Shaila to?
I thought they sent it to Mar Ukva. No, Rav. I'm sorry.
What is Mar Ukva doing here?
No, because they were. You have Bar Ukva and his Bezdin, right? Yeah. So then what they did is they swapped the shitas, right? Against meaning they told Rav the shitas the opposite, and Rav was close to Shmuel. You're saying, where does Rav come in?
No, the Gemara says they sent it to Rav.
Right. So what I'm saying,
what said to him originally, it was just a suggestion.
You mean instead they sent it to Rav?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't send it. I didn't chap that. I hear. Very good. I didn't chap that. I just thought Rav was part of Mar Ukva's. I don't know. Maybe.
Rav was the Gadol Ador. He was a Tano Palig. He was the oldest. He was the eldest, I should say.
Yeah, I mean the major. See, I'll tell you, the major kasha what you're saying, but l'chara you're right. Is that what I mean? Rav and Shmuel had no problem arguing throughout the entire Shas. Doesn't seem like Rav and Shmuel agreed on anything. Sometimes they agree. So
yeah, but they had a lot of respect for each other. When Rav came to Rav Bedavka did not mess with Shmuel's Bezdin. He went to Surah for a reason. They had a lot of, even though he came in later. Rav came from Eretz Yisrael. Shmuel was already established in Chutzlah in Babel when Rav came. He was greater, but he had a tremendous respect for Shmuel.
Shmuel called him Abba.
Yeah, no, obviously there was, but meaning the point is, I think the article footnote they bring this that what are you switching the Shitas to sending it to Rav? He was his friend. I mean, he wasn't his meaning. He was his friend Avada, but they had no problem disagreeing with Shmuel. I mean, they're switching it so that they get a legitimate answer. So till you made the Haragesh, and I was thinking it was Mar Ukva, but you're right, it's Rav. So then the Kasha saying, what, you have to switch it because you're not going to get an honest opinion from Rav. He certainly didn't feel like he was Meshubah to agree with Shmuel. Right? And then you still have the Kasha. What is going on over there? They're switching the opinions. Okay?
Well, it doesn't really help. If he's if Rav was Meshubah to Shmuel, switching the opinions wouldn't help.
I don't mean, it doesn't mean Meshubah.
No, but that was what they were scared of. They were scared he loves Shmuel. He's gonna say like it. So if you switch the Shitas, then okay, so say like Shmuel now.
Yeah, but in their minds, it was such a crazy concept. The Karna's question was such a strong question that they're like, we want to get a rise out of Rav, we want to see him be chaylik on him. To them, it was partial that that Shmuel's whatever Shmuel was saying didn't make sense. So they're trying to get Rav to like give an explanation to it by being chaylik on him.
Okay, whatever it is. I happen to have read, so Naftali Liner inspired me to start the Chaim Kanievsky book. I read this on Rosh Hashanah, maybe, or Erev. I don't want to say it over because the story and the book just poo-poos it. But it seems like the Chazon Ish was writing letters to the Stipler to get him to come from Eretz Yisrael to Europe, to get him to become Rosh Hashiva in Navardik. And he got no answer from the Stipler. So they figured out why, because the Bachram knew about it, heard about it, and they intercepted the letters and didn't deliver it to the Stipler from the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish is sending a letter to the Stipler that he wants to become Rosh Hashiva and go to Eretz Yisrael, and these guys intercepted it and didn't deliver the letter.
They wrote that in the book?
Yes. And I was like, I read this again. I was like, is this an art school book?
Yeah.
And and I don't know. Can you explain it to me? Can you imagine that being done Bisman Hazeh? What would happen?
They'd be selling. They'd be selling the letters. They'd be selling the letters on eBay.
It's much harder to intercept an email.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm just saying. I don't know, but here too, they're asking shilas to the Gadol Ador, and they're swapping the opinion. I don't think it's the same. I'm saying it seems like all's fair in war. And what do you go? What's the phrase? All fair. I'm saying you do what you got to do. I don't know if it's a muscle. Just sometimes it's just kashas. There's just kashas. Okay, so they swap the opinions. Yeah. So of course, they switched the opinions. They sent it to Rav Amar Lahu, and he told them, Helikim, right, which is a lashon like of a shua. Tzricha get b'tzricha miyun avada. He's right. Now again, this wasn't Shmuel. They thought it was Karna. He thought it was Karna. So he was not sticking up for Shmuel. Right? And that Shmuel asked this kasha, we have to we're chayshit for Abba bar Abba. Right? Rashi says Avu the Shmuel Abba. I mean, he went wild. Obviously, he was very not happy with Shmuel, right? Which ended up being, meaning because he thought Shmuel was Karna. But really, he was very happy with Shmuel. Right? Meaning he agreed with Shmuel's the position that Shmuel had. The time of Mai, and what is Taka the reason? The bottom line is, why does she need miyun and a get? Because maybe the father Taka was happy. She said, oh, my daughter went out with a guy from Lakewood and she got herself engaged, even though she's 10 years old, as best guy in Lakewood. I'm very happy, right? I'm very happy she did this, right? My smart girl. That's my girl.
That
right?
works. That works, Lacher Maisa.
No, well, that's the chashash. It's a chashash.
No, if the father Lamaisa was happy, that would work. The Kiddushin Bichal.
Tell him to come in. He's gonna have to wait a few minutes. What? I'm sorry. Well, Lulav and Esther? Yeah, tell him. What is this so complicated? I told him, come in and he'll wait a few minutes. Thank you.
I didn't hear what you said.
So you say I didn't hear what you
I
said.
know you were talking to me.
Well, I'm looking right at you.
I thought you were talking to Shir.
I'm sorry.
You're here for 3 minutes and you bother the whole
Polly
shit.
comes
It's
over for
unbelievable
this. That's
with
the
you.
fellow.
It's unbelievable. Go back and listen to your own brother-in-law fight with Rabbi.
Naftali, you're fired.
Hi, poor Naftali. Poor Naftali. Yeah, right.
Can't we put a mute on him? Can't we mute him?
Yeah, we only do that with a fist. Yeah. Anyways. So okay, so why does she need a get? I'm sorry, why does she need both? Maybe the father's not going to want the Kiddushin, right? Meaning she needs the get because maybe the father's happy with the Kiddushin. And if so, then the Kiddushin was a good Kiddushin. And she needs Mian because maybe he doesn't want a Kiddushin. But Yaimru, and people are going to say, Ein Kiddushin Toifsin Ba'achaisa. And then people are going to say that Kiddushin is not Toifis Ba'achaisa with the sister. Yeah. So therefore, meaning we're going to be afraid that this husband is not going to be able to marry her sister because she got a get. Right? When really she could, because there really was never a marriage there.
How would the Kiddushin, I'm still not having, how would the Kiddushin Bichal, she accepted it and the father wanted it later? She can't go ahead and do Kiddushin.
What?
She's not a shliach of the father. She can't go ahead and do Kiddushin.
It seems like when he hears about it, then it would work.
How? In what world is the Ketana able to accept Kiddushin?
In this world where the father is going to find out about it.
I'm asking, how does that work?
Yes, Anochanami. It's a kasha. It's a kasha. What the technicals of this work, how this works. But what should I tell you? That's yeah. But it's somehow it's going to work. Yeah, Rashi doesn't really say anything about Pshat why it works, right?
I don't understand. What's the confusing part? That the father,
she accepts the Kedusha. She's a katana. She's nothing. Then the father hears about it.
He could say no.
He could say no, but he could also say yes.
Right.
And then the Kedushin works. I don't know. Is she going to need a new Kedushin if they decide to stay married?
If the father would be happy, it would be a Kedushin Midaraisa, according to Gemara, it seems like.
I don't know. Is it Kedushin Daraisa? It's Kedushin Daraisa.
Why would you need a get if it's not Kedushin Daraisa? On the chash that it would be Kedushin Daraisa, you need a get. That's what Rav and Shmuel are saying.
It can be a Kedushin Midaraisa. Otherwise, the Mian wouldn't help with marrying your sister.
Correct. Memanov shach. If it's not
right,
Kedushin,
so that's what we're doing.
So then the question is, how does that work? A katana cannot be normally accept Kedushin ever. What she can't be a shliach.
Saying we're doing both in order to.
She's not doing with
satisfy
the
everybody.
The Ma'aseh Kedushin never happened. There's no das aviyah.
Yeah.
If I go ahead and mekadosh a woman and there's no das of her, she can't go ahead and accept it later.
Right. Enochanami. But it seems like once, if it's sort of like one of these lemafreya, he had his das type thing. Right?
Last you say the lemafreya, his das doesn't work also, but we're scared of the onlookers. They think that it was a real marriage because the father Lamaisa for the last 2 years was happy with it.
Yeah. Could be. I don't know. Okay, I guess I wanted to go a little bit more weiter, but either we do. Yeah, okay, let's stop over here. It's later already. I don't know how did this daf take so long. Oh, it's a long daf. Okay.